All systems nominal.
それでは早速全速前進
You know what the weak point of a mech is? The fucking pilot.
Get away from her, you bitch!
His papers say he was a raven.
Protocol 3.
A pattern blue!
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Alice, and I'm joined by Brian.
Walks up to a podcast. So, which one of you is a demure black-haired maiden, and which one of you is a shuddering, transient, down, catastrophic by shoujo?
And Nico.
Screaming, crying, throwing up because I went to normal high school and not lesbian giant robot high school.
This time around, we're discussing Maria Watches Over Us if Maria was a 5-ton co-piloted war mecha. Tandem Lovers! Let's launch into it.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
I love when you make references that are only for you.
Me and anybody who's ever consumed Yuri at a serious level. Hey guys, it's the Yuri episode.
The Yuri episode.
Amateur Yuri consumption.
The Yuri episode.
The only one we'll ever do.
The only one. The only one we've ever done and will ever do.
Who's hosting the Yuri episode this time, guys?
Kyle, weirdly enough. Kyle, come on in here.
See, we have to cover Bang Bang Braven to offset the amount of Yuri I've brought to this podcast.
I mean, it's not just you. We have literally had, I don't know, like 6 Yuri episodes in a row.
Lesbians being robots. I don't know what to say.
It's very lesbian coded to be a mecha pilot.
We're also very literate this fall because we've done a shitload of books in a row, too.
Yeah.
And written material.
Damn, do we even watch things anymore for this podcast besides Pacific Rim Uprising?
Just Pacific Rim Uprising.
I love lesbians and I support lesbians and I love you both very much. And I'm starving. I need Bang Braven.
We gotta feed Brian.
The food
it's been so long since
are
Pro-Man.
dying in the streets. Think of the food Yoshis.
Well, no, you know what's funny? I recently read a mech book, scouting it to see if we wanted to cover it for the podcast, and the major romance was straight, and I was so baffled. It detracted from my enjoyment of the book until I realized that that's why I was going, I don't know if I like this one. And I'm like, wait. You can't be heterophobic.
You can. So, y'all, we're returning to the world of manga. Manga, as it's correctly pronounced, right, Nico?
I wouldn't know. I'm cool and I fuck.
I'm pressing X to doubt so hard right now. So
we have absolutely no right to be talking about pronunciations on this show. We're just going to go with it. And if you want to tweet us about it, I have to read it legally. So
before this, we've covered 2, really 1 manga, Mazinger Z.
Mm-hmm.
The other one we sort of covered that I would kind of put in this is All You Need Is Kill, but that's a light novel. I put them in kind of the same realm. But
it had some illustrations, but yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about Tandem Lovers. Now, to be clear, Lovers is in English in the title. I just think that that's a neat little thing that they do. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, this is the first 3 episodes of Gunbuster, but if they never ended. If they just kept doing a time loop of the first 3 episodes of Gunbuster.
When God was still listening.
Hey, I stand by episode 6 of Gunbuster as one of my favorite things we've covered. So, Tandem Lovers was produced in 2010 by Hanbunsha, a major publisher behind a lot of comfy Yuri, like New Game, Sakura Trick, Is the Order a Rabbit, Bochi the Rock, and the comfiest Yuri of all, Madoka Magica.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, when I think comfy Yuri.
Yeah.
As far as mecha go, they've also published one of my favorite mechas, Aldnoah Zero, which we will be covering in the future. I'm so sorry to both of you.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
This was published in Tsubome, a Yuri manga magazine published between 2009 and 2012, which had 21 issues total. When I tell you that this is legendary within the Yuri community, it has spawned so many of our favorite artists and writers, and sadly only had a 21-issue run. These were stories published in different editions that were then collected into a collection manga volume and released standalone.
Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
I know you are the Yuri manga hunter. Do you own this one physically?
I own some copies of Tsubome. Unfortunately, because you have to get it secondhand at this point, it's hard as a English person to order them. I have none that contained this, to be honest, which is the saddest part. But I think we should also take a break. I know a lot of our fans know by now what Yuri is. What's Yuri?
It's when girls that are very cute and there are no butches or fat people kiss, and it's very sweet.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's about as much as we're going to get into it. I know Tumblr discourse on Yuri right now is in the worst place possible, but hey guys, Yuri can be what you want it to be, and this is Yuri. So
Yuri can be in the wind through blades of grass.
Exactly. Especially in the current modern conversation of toxic Yuri. I feel like it's fun to go back to the fluffy, comfy Yuri of old. So,
guys, there are so many bubbles in this manga. If you're looking for comfort,
come to the bubbles.
Come to the bubbles. So, what do you guys know about how manga is published in Japan?
I don't know.
Bad, maybe?
I know that it's monstrous. I know that it's like extremely like sweatshop level expectations of time and effort and schedule.
Yeah, that's about what I know.
But no, I don't know like how you get to be someone who does girls kissing for money.
Yeah, I don't know either. Can someone tell me?
Man, if only I was using this as a platform to give our audience a debrief on what manga is and its current iterations. So, manga in its current form in Japan and kind of from the 2000s on is corporate as fuck and disgusting.
Okay, yeah.
So, how it generally works is a magazine, which is owned by a publisher, will send its editors around, and editors in this are not entirely people who are just there to give you notes. They're managers as well. They manage their talents and also hold them to extremely unrealistic production standards that, can make them pass out and be sent to the hospital. So they'll go around generally online or at doujinshi circles, doujinshi being self-published manga, and they will reach out to artists that are promising and offer them a chance to compete into the magazine. Manga generally always starts as a magazine unless somebody has a history as a writer. It's very hard to become self-published outside of doujinshi itself, and to get with a publisher unless you are going through one of the main magazines. You can also apply to a magazine with your one-shot. So basically you create a story and you make an entire manga, generally between 30 and 50 pages, and you shop it around. And different magazines will hold competitions where they have a couple of like, here's the guidelines you have to have. Like, oh, this is a titty manga magazine, so you gotta have some titties in it. Or this is a shonen anime, so it needs to be about boys fighting giant robots. Things like that. They then vote on who wins and generally give out a newcomer award. This comes with cash prizes, but at that point, they don't generally publish the one that you win with. They then hire you to start working for them.
Okay.
So, Japanese manga magazines, there's two kinds. One is the weekly or bi-weekly edition. These are generally manga magazines that are generally digital only these days, but have shorter chapter runs, like 10-page chapters, just constantly pumping out content. Think the One Piece of manga.
Yeah, your Shonen Jumps.
Exactly. Shonen Jump, actually a monthly magazine.
Oh.
Fun fact.
Oh, I didn't
they do
realize
have some spin-offs that are weekly. So the monthly magazine is one chapter a month, usually 30 to 60 pages. usually one-shots, but there are also continuing ones. So you'll have ones where they have like, oh, here are our big names, and they get the first chapters, and then your new people in the end. And there's rankings, and it's disgusting. And all this to say, creating an entire chapter of a manga in 1 month puts a lot of stress on creators, but it is the culture that they have. So where does that bring us with Tsubome? Tsubome was designed as a Yuri manga magazine, so it only contains Yuri. This is odd, right? Because generally, magazines are more broad stroke because you have to be able to sell it at a convenience store. Tsubome was designed because there was a want to represent Yuri, and they had already a lot of artists in-house working for them who had been publishing in their other magazines. And so this was a way for them to, quote unquote, corner the market.
Yeah, they were finding a niche to get in there.
Unfortunately, it did not work out. The money was not there. It sold well, but not well enough for corporate overlords.
Oh, ain't that the fucking way.
Yeah, currently there's a couple of different ones that are still out there, but the big one that everyone will talk about is Yuri Hime, Yuri Princess, which is a anthology magazine that pretty much every Yuri manga that you're gonna read these days comes from Yuri Hime. Pretty much every artist starts there. That's really the only place a Yuri artist can find themselves. There's really not a lot of mecha in Yuri, at least manga Yuri. So I brought this one to you guys because I really liked that it was doing the Yuri shit. Anyway, so that is pretty much what this is.
Me and Brian have just been listening in rapt silence to this information because I think Brian and I are more familiar with kind of like the collapse of the written publishing industry in the United States, at least, and how bad the situation is over here as far as like trying to break in as a writer, the expectations on a book deal and your own marketing, and I think there's a lot of expectations. We saw this when we were talking about the Iron Widow series. There's a lot of expectations that if you want your book to succeed, you have to become your own marketing machine. And like Shirin J. Zhao is good at that, like has a really popular TikTok and YouTube channel, but like there's a lot of stupid horseshit that is getting foisted on authors now if you want the privilege of like publishing. Though I will say I think self-publishing used to be really stigmatized over here, and I think that's shifting a bit. So I would be really happy if we had something closer to doujinshi culture, even though I know doujinshi culture has like its own issues.
It's just
like,
so expensive to do it here is the problem.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like $3,000 in editing fees alone to like get something suitable for Kindle World or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh yeah, and the Amazon Kindle market is so bad. Yeah. It is bad out there trying to be a creator. Anybody out there trying to draw your own manga or write your own stories, hang in there. I'm glad that you're making it.
Yeah. And as we've demonstrated very recently, we'll read it too, and we will talk about it.
Yeah.
It can be almost anything we've discovered. We talked about a coffee table book.
And an epic poem.
We are out here. We are platforming. I will say there is some light at the end of this tunnel. Self-publishing online in Japan has really taken off. There's a lot of mainly porn-filled websites where you can buy self-published manga and support the artist directly. And they have always had a good series of doujinshi markets, Comiket and other smaller ones. So it's not, I mean, it's sad, and a lot of it is self-inflicted deadlines on people, but you can make a living being a self-published doujinshi artist these days. It's just, you're going to want to be published eventually, and that's where the problems come in. So let's talk about Tandem Lovers.
Yeah.
This was written and drawn by Kasahara Tetsuro, who also did art for Full Metal Panic Zero, the manga.
Oh,
and he wrote and did art for Ride Back, which is both a manga and an anime that we will one day cover. It's about, like, student protest come back, and there's a girl who uses, like, a small personal-sized mecha to help the student revolution. It's pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
He also wrote and did art for Adam the Beginning, which is kind of what he is known for. This was a prequel to Astro Boy. It's gotten like 5 volumes.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. I was going to say, so like one of my first notes is that this early art style in like the first couple chapters is super Osamu Tezuka pilled. Like their school uniform shoulders.
Yeah.
Like that's absolutely something he would draw.
Yep. You can really see the inspiration. And the drawing style does feel of an era. And not the era it was made in. So this is 5 chapters and 1 omake. An omake is just a little fluffy extra that you can get sometimes in these that doesn't really follow the main plot and is sometimes shorter. This is collected in a volume
The main plot.
Yeah.
The main plot, which is girls. Whammon.
Whammon. It's 152 pages long. It took me like less than 30 minutes to read this. I don't know about you guys. This episode is going to be longer than it would take listeners to read this.
Yeah, if you start
100%.
reading it now, listening to our voices wash over you.
I
Also-
read it all, I took notes, and I saved a bunch of screenshots, and it still, I think, took me less than an hour to get through all of it.
And I will say, this is not available in English, so sail the high seas.
So we learned Japanese. We did this the legal way,
We
actually.
did,
we can
yeah.
read Japanese, and we just did it that way.
We actually make Nico translate all of these for us from the original Japanese.
I do the translation, I do the typesetting, I do the quality checks.
You do
and
the
then
typesetting? I have a bone to pick with you about the word boom. That the font that you use.
The fonts in this scanlation are a choice.
Good God. Thank you to all of those people who scan late for free, but also...
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you do
thank you.
so much very hard work, 100% for free.
You don't need to use that font.
You don't need to use that font.
People don't need different fonts for their different types of speaking. We don't need that. What did you guys know about Tandem Lovers before I put this on the schedule?
You already know. This is both. I think both of us can safely say this. Until Alice said it, literally maybe 2.5 weeks ago, we had never heard these words together before.
The thing about Alice is she is a Dynasty Scans warrior. She is the Yuri Hunter.
Don't you name
She
drop
is
that
on-
shit.
She is on the manga website. She is looking for any chance.
You know I'm on that new and upcoming.
Yeah. Alice is out here talent scouting for manga with no power to actually give them any benefit.
Here's the synopsis. It's
Oh
simple.
my god, can I just say I love scrolling down to see the synopsis and it's 4 lines. After the paragraphs we've been doing.
I had to stretch for the synopsis if I'm being real.
Alice is doing God's work.
In the near future, a girls-only school teaches its young ladies how to pilot Tandemine, 2-person mechs, and how to get along with both their co-pilot and their machine. Each story is a snapshot of one pair, each dealing with their relationship as pilots and sometimes lovers. It's fluffy, it's Yuri, and it's mecha. And with that, we'll head to the break.
Hey, Nico here in the break. Just wanted to let you know that while this is a podcast, and we'll always do our best to describe visuals we're commenting on, we'll also include links to the mechs and images we discuss in the show notes, and post actual photos on our show website. Along with that, make sure to check the show notes for content warnings as appropriate to the episode. That's all for now. Back to the show.
We're back from the break. Brian,
Yeah.
say your thing.
My thing?
About the mech on the cover.
Oh, the mech on the... Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the mechs. I mean, what do we make of these mechs? Are they all the same? I'm
No.
pretty sure they all look the same to me.
No, there are slight variations, especially the one in the omake had a really different look.
It had a different... Okay, I didn't realize it had a different look. I noticed that it had different weapons. It had a little shield and a little chainsaw sword. But I did not notice that it was a different mech.
Oh no, I think they're all built on the same model, but there's like slight customizations. And I will say, on a scale from sports car to a guy, these are definitely more a guy.
These are
Like,
a guy.
they've got a little retro feel to them. They've got,
Bulbous.
yeah, they're bulbous. They
Bulbous.
got little skinny legs. They got those kind of locked at 45-degree angle or 90-degree angle arms, like,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got tank hatches.
Yeah, it's like a submarine kind of looking shape cockpit chunk. and then just like spindly legs hanging off of it. They're cute.
Yeah, they don't look like they're gonna stand up to much, honestly. But I will say that there's two others that appear in this that we do need to shout out, which is gonna be the Tandem Tractor and the Cross
The tractor.
Tandems.
Yeah. I was like,
tractor
Nico's gonna lose her mind.
The tractor whips.
Literally, it's one frame, and we're all dying for it. I love her.
Okay. This is one of my favorite things. So, something that is known about like Junji Ito is he loves to draw a car. I love that
Yes.
this manga is about lesbians, it's about young women, and it's about romance. But every once in a while, there's just a sick as shit, highly technical mecha drawing that's like a full page, and it's like incredible. There are some truly technically skilled drawings in this, and it is, I cannot emphasize this enough, functionally a fanfic backdrop for girls kissing.
Yeah.
It's really great.
I will say two of the things that stood out from the design of the Tandemine for me are the rubber shoes and knee pads that look like tires. Very
They look like
functional, very cool.
they look like bumper cars.
Yeah,
The feet look like bumper cars to me.
I kind of love it.
It's cute.
Yeah,
cute.
these are cute. I would build a model kit of the Tandemines. They're very cute.
And I also enjoy the shield. Oddly enough, I usually am pretty mid on a shield on a mech, but on this it seems very
The little
on
buckler.
brand. Yeah, the little buckler that it's holding.
Yeah.
It's a little buckler. It's got teeth at the bottom, almost like a construction tool, so this could scrape as well as like block a hit. And the one it's shown with in the panel I'm looking at, it has a little chainsaw sword. The weapons for these things are very funny. I love them a lot.
Yeah, between
little,
that
like,
and the rocket pods, it's very good.
They've got like rocket pods. They've got like little snub-nosed submachine guns. Like it's very like small proportions and chunky shapes.
So let's just keep going and diving in on the Tandemine because it is kind of the meat of what we're talking about. I'm gonna talk about the piloting gear.
Yeah.
Well, can we take one step back and discuss an element that frames this entire narrative that only comes up in the omake? You remember in our random access histories episode where we were like, oh yeah, and you have to pick some adjectives to describe a conflict that you're part of that necessitates you being in a mech. There is a war happening, which is the reason that this exists and that there is a piloting academy. But it only comes up in literally the bonus chapter. But that's why ostensibly this academy exists. They are training pilots for this war. Anyway.
So we've talked about this before. I'm going to use this as my jump into this. Shoujo Ai and girl school romances. If you listen to the back catalog, I kind of give a dissertation on this in one of our previous episodes. But I kind of wanted to give a reminder of this, which is this started because of girls' schools in Japan taking off. And there was a cultural choice, I guess, that girls could date each other in girls' school, and that was okay because then they were going to grow up and go marry a man. And there were missives, there were stories. Some of the first manga ever is based around this. And like stories written about falling in love with another girl at your girl's Catholic school kind of thing. And where this kind of peaked was in the pre-World War II era. So during Imperial Japan's rise to power. So there is this it's kind of referencing this era where in the homeland, it was fine and they could just live their life and girls' schools existed. But at the end of the day, they were preparing for an imperial war. And eventually things aren't going to be as good. So I don't know. It's kind of a really dark undertone if you give it that coloring of, oh, this is Imperial Japan. This is a metaphor for Imperial Japan.
Yeah. And it kind of sets out a lot of the tropes as I understand it. I do think it's interesting where homosocial and homosexual behavior is normalized. Like, I get, one of the big running jokes is like private schools in Britain, especially. Like, if you knew some guys who were at private schools, they probably did some gay shit, but it doesn't matter because everyone does that at private school. It's this very funny, like, cultural thing that is kind of cross-cultural and global in a way. But to me, it just means like, I don't know, we've always been here. Sometimes the depictions suck, but also, like, sometimes it's good to remember, like, I don't know, if you force a lot of people of the same or similar genders to be in one area, you're gonna get some shoujo ai.
Fucking shoujo ai. So, I'm then gonna jump into, we've got to talk about it, and this chapter has the best drawing to show it, because it has a cross-section. Let's talk about that cockpit.
Yep.
Hey, guys.
Certain inevitable geometries.
Yep.
Except
Certain
the
inevitable
geometries they did not have to be inevitable. A designer sat down and went, I know what kind of geometries I want in here.
Iron Widow as fucking seat configuration. Wrap yourself around your partner. So
Yeah.
the front pilot is so it's a 2-seat pilot, much like an F-14 Tomcat is the...
We were all thinking that.
Yeah.
We got Top Gun. So the person in the front is the main pilot who mans the actual thing, and then the person behind them is the EWAR and countermeasures person, the support staff, so to say. How they sit is the front pilot is kind of in a more recessed towards the front. They have access to the front coaxial machine gun, as well as the pedals and everything. And then behind them in a tandem seat is their co-pilot. Very important, the co-pilot is so far forward, they have to straddle their legs around the pilot in front of them. And this is by design.
Yes.
You gotta just nestle up in there.
And we just
Yeah.
gotta say it. This is just to get panty shots, and it's not great.
Yeah. You know what I was reminded of? Alice, you probably know about this thing. You know that manga that's about girls playing mahjong? And over time, it's just gotten
Yes, I do.
ridiculously, like, the boobs keep getting bigger and the panty shots keep getting worse, but the story, like, doesn't acknowledge it, and it's just about mahjong. I just think it's fun that you have to do certain things to get published or to keep reader attention, but also you can just do your own thing, which is focus on mahjong or have mechs or whatever.
I will say this particular run of manga is very, like, innocuous about this. Like, there, like, don't get me wrong, there are upskirt shots. There are a couple where the camera is just straight up like underneath a girl. But, like, only 2 or 3 that, like, seemed noticeable to me, and the others felt a little bit more like there's a certain inevitable geometry about the fact that if the front pilot turns their head too much, they are upskirting their partner, and there's almost like it's almost like a charming like girls being flustered energy about it instead of like a pervy energy about it.
I do think it's funny that, like, they wear knee pads and they wear elbow pads. Like, there's gear you wear to pilot.
Yeah.
But they don't have a different, because, like, in
what uniform do
Gunbuster,
they wear?
they just wear, like, a straight up school uniform, like a navy blue skirt, and then, of course, like, huge shoulder pad, blazer.
It's a seifuku. It's just a seifuku. And yeah, they're wearing this pleated skirt in these cockpits, but they still have their, like, bracers on. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I just thought it was funny considering, like, in Gunbuster, they had, like, a jazzercise outfit that they got into.
Yeah.
But there are no gym clothes for this.
Right.
Except in the swimming episode.
Except in the swimming
funny.
episode.
So, controls. Something I think that it was really cool is they actually have a full screen monitor on this thing, which I was not expecting.
Yeah, because it looks a little bit like analog. It looks a little bit like
it has
tank.
gauges, it has steam, you know, like she's using yokes. It's piloted like a jet is the easiest way to put it. But yeah, and then they're also wearing giant over-ear headphones because they're in a tank, essentially. And
when you have war at 10 and podcasting at 11.
What if I got like one of those headsets? What if I got my TAC headset and started using it for the pod?
You know what? If you were serious about podcasting, you would.
So that's kind of the Tandemine. Do you guys have any other shout outs about the Tandemine before we start going into the story?
It'll come up in one of the later chapters, but there is a very funny moment. So these are all moddable. And I guess, you know what's funny to me is, like, my understanding of the Tandemines at this school is that they're a little bit like the school clarinet that you would check out for band. Like, these are technically school property, but these girls are, like, modding and hot swapping and, like, doing shit to these. And later, it's so funny. 2 of them have been modded so excessively that the front seat pilot can't like they're struggling to actually use all the controls, which I think is incredibly funny. It brings to mind the very funny post about one of those people who has the ultra wide, like 5,000 pixel monitor and a Dvorak keyboard with no letters on the keycaps, and their friends like high as fuck trying to order pizza and dying. So, like, I assume that's what it's like if you're the pilot of someone who's too into modding your Tandemine. You get in there and there's some new fucked up shit happening.
Brian, isn't that your setup at home?
Damn. Got me. No, I don't have a Dvorak key. What are you talking about?
I thought you had one without letters on it, or am I thinking of the wrong person?
No, it has letters on it. It's just not backlit.
Oh.
It's just not, it's not fit for use. Sorry, I've been using a keyboard that doesn't have backlight for a few things, and I hate it. We as a society have progressed past the need for keyboards without backlights.
I touch type.
The monitor has light. You shouldn't need to look at the keyboard. I don't know.
I type with 3 fingers on each hand in an inscrutable pecking motion, and I have to look at the keyboard when I do it, okay? This is new lore just
Did you go to school for this?
New lore. Nico is a velociraptor, apparently.
I took typing lessons in Texas. I don't know what you want from
They just make you write "The stars are bright" over and over again.
I just kept having to type the lyrics to the Yellow Rose of Texas, so my fingers are locked in for like the T and the Y.
Anyway.
Chapter 1. The naming structure of these chapters are very simple.
They're based on the ship.
Yeah.
Nico?
Yes.
What's
chapter 1? That's Koda and Shima.
And what does the direction of those names mean?
Oh my god. Okay, so I actually had a question about this.
Yeah.
So I'm more familiar in slash fiction communities. Usually the first name in a ship name... Oh, and to be fair, I think the culture around this is shifting. But it used to be that the first name in a given ship was the one who tops. And so, like, it used to mean something if you said Sasunaru versus Naru Sasu. Like, it meant something if you said that. It also meant something if you used a slash or an X. Okay, shut up, Brian. Yeah, I know these people have never encountered real gay people. But, like...
I'm Kyle X Brian. Are you a Brian X Kyle?
Yeah, no, that used to have a lot of significance. And I do think that's changing. I think the current thing is that people are more interested, well, and it could be different in shipping outside of like anime and manga. I do think people are more interested in coming up with a ship name that is aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
We have way less Snoticon these days.
Hey, what is the answer to this question, though?
Thanks for asking.
I'm dying to know.
So... This actually spawned from Japanese culture is where we got it, ship names. And so the first one is the top, the second one is the bottom.
Okay.
Yep.
However, in Yuri, so in Yaoi, it's Seme and Uke.
Yaoi. I'm sorry. I know this is the mispronouncing shit podcast, but when you mispronounce Yaoi, sometimes I think you are invoking God.
Yahweh.
Look, you're the one invoking the fandom by pronouncing partisan like Parmesan cheese.
Partisan.
So in Yuri, the top is the Tachi and the bottom is the Neko. The Nico.
What?
Wait, hold on.
The
Nico?
kitty. The kitty.
Nico?
The Nico.
No. Assigned bottom by Yuri.
Hey, real quick, these rules are fucking stupid. Go be gay in real life, please.
Yeah, everyone, if you are heavily invested in this and you're not Alice, who does this sort of anthropologically, you need to go touch bush, as my friends have affectionately said before.
Go touch real bush, as Chapel Road would say.
Oh, I'm crying. This is so much.
My dream is that anything I've said in the last half hour will spawn a Tumblr post with so many notes cursing me for every mispronunciation, every misnomer, all of the incorrect facts. Please get in the notes and correct me, everyone.
I think these Yuri rules are a little bit like Bushido. Like, they're structure and they're good for training, but when you get into real combat, it's about who kills who, okay?
The Honorable Yuri.
I think that's what Yuri is about.
So, do you ever realize you know so much about your classmates' school performance because you're always staring at them? Because that's what this one's about.
Yeah.
We have our two failing students. Shima's too headstrong and goes too fast, and Koda is way too cautious.
I love that they're failing, but they're failing in different directions.
Yeah.
One has ADHD and one has anxiety.
So they get put together because both are failing their classes.
I do appreciate that they did this because it used to be when I was in school, if you excelled, your job became getting paired with someone who was failing, which, to be fair, helps someone, but also sometimes you're stuck in unit number 69 because you both suck.
Nice.
You know how I laughed when I saw that? I was like, okay.
I'm glad that Brian also put the note in. They're number 69. Nice. So the basic premise is they get put together, and it's an orienteering up the mountain against autonomous mechs and instructor mechs to get a flag at the top of the mountain. Shima wants to just rush in and beat everybody, and Koda is like, no, we gotta wait. And that's when they realize they've been watching each other.
There's a certain energy. Yeah, they've been watching each other, ostensibly because they're annoyed at each other. Oh, you're so fast. I'm always seeing you falling over and eating your lunch so fast that you get stomach cramps. Oh, but you're so slow. You're always stuck in the cafeteria and you're still on the exercise field from the day before when I get there too early. Weird, wild ass shit is happening. I do think that there is some kind of energy to the pilot who's in charge of like the more advanced suites just removing controls, and then the pilot who's technically doing most of the physical piloting having to ask for control. That had some energy to it. But anyway.
What energy is that? No, I really enjoy it from a mechanical perspective, and also it's a very cute confession scene where they're like, all of my memories of school are about you, and they all kind of realize it. And then the solution is, oh, now we'll actually talk before we do things.
Yeah.
And they win.
Yeah.
15 pages, y'all.
I do love that they win because they charged in super fast, and so nobody got a lock on them. And then they had the love confession breakdown during which the slower one turned off the controls. And then they established their DS dynamic. No, but they established their battle plan and then moved, and that allowed them to both rush in too fast and wait too long and avoid like the bulk of the enemy, which I do love. And
then we get my favorite ending, which is they both pop their hatches after getting the flag and finally kiss on top of their mecha.
They kiss, and the panel, it's through the binoculars of the coach who's watching them kiss, and she seems like lightly scandalized. It's very cute. I thought this was all very funny and well composed.
It's very cute. The mecha is right up front. It's good. I really like this take on a military exercise.
I do like also the small detail that it's like unfair. Like, this is supposed to be an exam, which you assume would mean that you want a certain amount of the students to pass, and nobody else passes because it's too hard. This school sucks.
Yeah.
The level 8 exam. Chapter 2, Kaguya X Sama. So
I love this one.
This one was my favorite.
These two are matching each other's freak. This is what that phrase means.
So Kugawa is a book library nerd, but so is Sana, who is a stereotypical Japanese beauty. We've discussed this before. Kugawa won't reach out to talk to Sana and break the egg, so to say. Which there's a little picture of breaking an egg.
Yeah, it's very funny that we would say break the ice, but they say break the egg, which had some different connotations for me, but I did laugh.
But is happy to just watch her from across the library and fantasize the friendship that they would have studying together and being super nerds about mechs.
This is so me-pilled. Like, the yearning from across the library is so... yeah, this is good.
So Sana stops showing up, and there are rumors going around that she has given up studying and is headed into town, which is like great trope for an all-girls school. Always to have the going into town being scandalous.
How dare you go to the supermarket and
she's going to go to a private karaoke booth and have a fucking iced tea. Scandalous.
How dare you?
But through advanced electrical component circuitry, she realized that Sana is just putting theory into practice in the maintenance bay.
You ever put theory into practice in the maintenance bay?
She saw the book she was reading and was like, oh, she's obviously putting into practice. Guys, these next few pages are my favorite parts of this book.
You want to talk
they're
about certain
technical as
inevitable
fuck.
geometries.
They get in there. Listen, anytime you're doing maintenance and you end up in a small crevice, like, listen, this whipped in Ava when they climb into the Magi. Like, this whips here.
I love the page when she goes into the hangar and they're using the little ladder truck. Sana is
And
using the little ladder truck.
brand ladder truck, apparently.
It's ladder brand ladder truck. And this is one of the panels that I saved because it's like a scissor lift like limb, and then it just has a flat guardrail platform at the top. It's so goofy looking. I love it so much. This is my favorite mech.
Yeah, it's really good.
So another thing here is that I really enjoy is she's using a tablet to map out the circus tree. Once again, just giving me a whiplash on what era this is supposed to be. And she has decided to redo how the circuitry works so she can get an output at 128% without overloading any of the components.
She's a gamer. She's overclocking. She is optimizing the hardware configuration.
This is...
I love women in STEM.
This, it's so niche. So they go into the engine compartment and they're using voltometers and they are on top of each other in this small engine compartment.
Oh, they are crammed in the engine compartment, baby.
I think my favorite scene is specifically this panel on the top right. The one where she's in her track pants and they're like leaning on their backs, looking up and changing lines. It's really cool. I like it that they're like, oh, in theory, this would work, but it's not. And then she calls out, oh, it's because the wire components weren't built for this voltage. And then the engine starts roaring and they both start blushing because mecha.
It's when your mech turns over and you're in the compartment with your girl.
Well, and like we find out Sana was actually also going to the library every day to stare at Kugawa, which is just...
They're cuddling in the cockpit.
And then Yuri bubbles.
Oh,
Yeah.
so many Yuri bubbles.
I love the energy of like, I'm gonna go to the library to study, but also just to look at you, and they're both doing it. Okay, can we talk about the fact that the one started wearing glasses because the other one was wearing glasses? There's such a thing as matching your freak too much. Do not get fake glasses.
I feel like fake glasses are like so
What are you
popular.
talking about? They both wore glasses. Wait, does she say that?
There's a panel where Sana, when she's confessing to Kagura, is like, I even started wearing glasses. I screenshotted this one. She's like, I started wearing glasses because you wear glasses. That's
I feel like
not normal.
At least in manga and anime, I feel like fake glasses are like so popular. I don't know if that's like a Japanese cultural thing.
No, it is. It's why I wear fake glasses.
You do not.
These are blue light. I don't need glasses. I have 20/20.
I think we just discovered something about Alice live on pod, which is haunting to me.
I like how they
What do
look
you
on
mean?
my face. So I wear them when I'm not looking at screens because I like how glasses frame a face. And
You know
also,
what?
there was
Okay,
this girl at college reading this book on advanced circuitry, and I wanted to be like her.
That's beautiful.
Wait, did you really not know that these are fake?
No,
I
didn't
had
know they
no
were
idea.
fake.
I thought you needed glasses.
Alice is literally just living Yuri, just manifesting it into the world.
Anyway, so they start sitting next to each other at the library and studying even harder about mechas together.
I'm obsessed with these two freaks. They come back later. They're the most important thing in the world.
Women in STEM.
I do think that this next one had made me realize that Gunbuster suffered a little bit by being so early in our oeuvre, because we did talk about it, but it hasn't gotten the stage time that it deserves, which is the Met calisthenics. When we were cutting to this next chapter and we were on the beach and they were talking about doing swim training, I was like, oh my God, we're so back.
They are all standing there in their swimsuits, and you're like, okay, swim training, normal part of high school, and then they turn around and run and get in mechs.
But they're all still wearing their swimsuits, which is great. Love it. So Kato,
It's very funny where it's like, You can tell there's some kink stuff going on here, but it's just very light. Like, I know the school swimsuit thing is a kink. There's a bit later where there's some programming with the feet, which is interesting, and I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is for people. And you know what? If that person is you, feast.
So anyway, what does the Tandemine boat mode look like, guys?
Shout out to Japanese schools for finally giving girls reasonable swimsuits, finally in the 2010s. Yeah, so they run in and get in their Tandemines and walk out into water, and then they activate
The inflatable?
It's got a little floater on it.
It makes it like a tugboat.
I love Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about like World War II tanks, this is a thing that we actually did, is you just put a giant inflatable ring around it, make sure it's watertight, and a tank can float. And
I love the fact that every once in a while I'm like, haha, this is ridiculous. And then Alice is like, as we all know, in World War II. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I didn't know that.
Unfortunately, Kato-san is scared of the ocean. Oh no.
She's scared of water, which is funny. How do you bathe, girl?
But her co-pilot is the nicest person ever and is like, we'll take it slow, don't worry. And then they start falling behind because engine troubles. I really liked this. So she gets out a rebreather mask and swims under to get to the engine compartment, but uses like a hook to, like, it's done in a very OSHA-safe way.
She hooks in with her carabiner.
These drawings whip ass, by the way. There's
They
some
are
drawings
really
like,
good.
yeah, of like the mech underwater. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I like, she also has like a personal flotation device for emergencies, but eventually her co-pilot was like, oh, she's not answering anymore. And why is that, Nico? What OSHA rule should everybody follow?
Shake hands with danger.
You have to check.
Lawsuit!
This is a lawsuit. You have
Lawsuit.
to check the expiration dates on your safety equipment, on your emergency supplies. If your rebreather is 2 years past its expiration, you are entitled to financial compensation.
This school is
And
being shut
jury.
down at the conclusion of this arc.
No, it's Japan.
No, it's not. No,
It's
it's
Japan,
not.
they don't.
Listen. Well, no, in America too. I'm thinking about how many schools like ceiling tiles just fall out onto desks and they just have to like push them off and sweep them away.
I do like that they do have an emergency signal so she can get help immediately, which she does. Good for her. In an emergency, call
And
higher
it takes
authorities.
30 minutes to arrive. Fucking living in the country calling an ambulance ass response times.
So she gets out a rebreather, which is also expired.
Well, this is when she discovers that they're expired. They knew they were dusty, but it's like, oh, this is straight up just like not functional. Oh, great.
This part scared me because I don't like drowning, but the visuals of her looking through the water at the mech's feet is really cool done. I don't know. She saves her. They have a heartfelt reunion. She gives her CPR, and the day is saved.
The most important reason to drown is for a cute girl to give you CPR.
Yeah.
I'm frequently saying this.
are
Anytime I
all saying
drown, we
this.
know why.
Mecha are such good backdrops for gay love, guys. This is what we're learning today.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this. This is so funny. Like,
I wanted to
So-
talk about this. Yeah, we made a podcast about it, Nico.
yeah, thank fucking Christ. Otherwise, I'd just be standing in the yard shouting it at the neighbors. Anyway, no, I was thinking about the fact
In
that
the back
okay,
five yelling.
just hollering, firing a gun in the air, and then hollering about Yuri. This is a country Yuri fans. No, so I was thinking about the fact that, okay, so after Pacific Rim came out, it became a very popular AU or alternate universe. Any ship, any fandom, there would inevitably be some Pacific Rim AUs. Because mechs are a really good backdrop, especially mechs that you have to pilot with another person. And, like, obviously Pacific Rim has the whole, like, neural handshake thing on the side, but like any situation where you are forced to cooperate to do a highly technical task is like a good backdrop for romance. And I realized as I was reading through these, because like this manga is about the mechs, but it is mostly about the girls. And it made me kind of laugh because I realized it's like, oh, this is every Pacific Rim AU fanfic I have read because I love mechs. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll read about fucking Hannibal Lecter and Will Graham piloting a mech. Why the fuck not? And it is such a popular trope. And I do feel like the deployment of mechs as like a backdrop here to the different relationships has that energy, but it is also like every once in a while there's like this little technical bit of information. You're like, hold on. Let's get the camera off these cute girls and look at these mechs.
So real. So true. Let's go to the sad chapter. Meru X Shima.
Oh my god, do you ever grow up and grow apart?
So, the golden pair of the middle school Tandemcross club. Shima, who now goes to the girls' school that we're at and was from the first chapter.
The first chapter, yeah.
Returns home for a home visit, and her old classmate Meru is there. They end up staying the night together. It's very cute. Shout out to the Tandemine gunpla on Shima's childhood desk.
Last night I dreamt I held you in my arms. I want a Tandemine gunpla.
Then while walking and discussing, they also come across Meru's family Tandem Tractor that they got in trouble for using as kids. Let's talk about this boy.
God.
Let's talk about this tractor. It has one panel, and I love her.
The Tandemine Tractor is the most important character in this manga.
What is that game that you played that was in early access, Brian? It reminds me of that. The
Lightyear Frontier?
Yeah.
Lightyear Frontier.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my touchstone.
I love that it's literally dragging the tiller behind it. Like, it's like attached to its ass in a very funny way. But my favorite thing in the world is the fact that it has the classic glass tractor, like, pilot seat. It looks exactly like a tractor's driver's cab. Like,
yeah.
It's so good. And
so
what
good.
kills me is that this implies that if you want to do agriculture, you also have to have a buddy. Just farmer yaoi happening in the field, I like to think.
I love it.
There's some BL happening back on the farm that we're not seeing because we're at the Girls Live Academy.
Damn it.
So they go to their old middle school, meet their old club advisor from the Tandemcross club, and
I love that this... Okay, so is the
Yeah.
implication here that this is cross-country, but you do it in a mech?
Yes. It's what is it? It's because they do a gymnastics move.
Yeah, it's like
Oh my
mixed,
God.
mixed floor gymnastics, but in a mecha.
Yeah.
It's so good. This is
Because I was
gonna
gonna say, I actually this mech also looks a little bit different. The like little cutesy middle school mech is
The
actually very
Tandemcross.
cute as well.
I
It's stripped
kind of
down.
love it. It's so lanky. It's a little
Yeah.
lanky boy.
And it's got like a roll cage around them and a clear cockpit. It makes me think that they can't afford the LCDs, which I think is great. It also looks like it's wearing Crocs.
This is very much like a trainer unit before you actually can use the one that we would be worried if you break it. Like, oh, you can break this one. Knock this shit out of it.
Yeah.
It's like the Demi from Witch from Mercury.
We all know this.
We all know.
We gotta cover Witch from Mercury, but we have to watch like 500 yaoi things first, just like recompense for Brian. We have to dig up all of the mech yaoi in the world.
So they go back and they are goaded in by their kohai, who are all in love because girls' schools with the heroes.
I do want to circle back to something important. So, when Shima comes home, Meru is like, "Oh, you must be the top of your class. You were such a good pilot." Blah blah blah. And Shima's like, LOL, no, I'm failing out of school, and like I am just barely hanging in there. And Meru immediately, hey, it's toxic Yuri time. No, I'm kidding. I think the toxic Yuri thing is literally just an exaggeration of just like normal frustration and jealousy. And so she jumps to this conclusion that if you're failing in school, it must be because your co-pilot sucks, unlike me.
Because we were so good together.
We were so good together. They must be failing you. And this is the theme that's running through it. Like, Meru's like, clearly she isn't good enough for you. Not like I was.
You should transfer to my school so we can pilot together.
To my school.
And then, so they do a demonstration in the tandem, and
my favorite shit in the world.
This is so good. So she is like, oh, she's manually controlling the stabilization.
Put it on manual.
And she isn't running it at max speed. And she's like, oh, we're doing a leisurely stroll. And Meru realizes, oh, she might be the worst in her class, but her school is at such a higher level. I am nothing.
Yeah, it's like sad, but also really cool the way this sequence plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I loved this. Like, I loved their front flip, and I loved this mech.
Also, these panels are insane.
Yeah.
The drawing on these panels is just insane.
They're great. I don't know. This one just kind of like ended weird. I was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Alice, what tropes are in play here? Because I know there's some specific tropes happening here.
Please take care of her for me.
Yeah.
My favorite one. The sad goodbye at the train station. The, I'm letting go. I realize that you have found a new partner who loves you more than I can. And she sees it when they're talking about it, like, oh no, you actually really like your new partner. And she sends a letter and it just says, please take care of Shima, which is so Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that bittersweet thing that I associate with. It's funny because in like America, it's the Hays Code that like so much, if you wrote queer fiction, you had to have the ending be bad because it was supposed to teach a moral lesson, like God will punish these people regardless. And I do feel like I do feel like we have some hangover throughout different cultures of like, if you're going to tell these stories, they have to kind of end badly. But I don't know where that specifically comes from in Japan. But I know it's a trope that like a bittersweet childhood romance, you know, especially with the girls' school backdrop.
Childhood friends still losing. There's been enough childhood friends losing. There's a manga and an anime by that name. Chapter 5. Let's get back into it. Mura x Taran.
Are you ever the third and fourth wheel?
So it's a live ammo practice class.
Yeah, we finally get to see mechs shooting missiles and fighting and stuff. This onomatopoeia.
Yeah?
Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Oh yeah, the onomatopoeia in this, like, cluttered.
What word art, Microsoft Word ass, MS Paint ass, fucking word art font are we doing with these curly Q? This is the Samsung handwritten, like, Android 1.0 font.
Oh, my favorite's gotta be boom, 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 boom.
Oh, yeah? Oh my god. Shout outs to the typesetters. Shout outs to the people who put in the sound effects in English. You're doing your best. I know that you're out here with the dafont.com font downloads.
So,
Whoosh.
Jesus.
The story of this one is, yeah, Alice, it's a live fire class.
Yeah, they're using real bullets, but as it's explained, the cockpits of Tandemines are so safe that everybody survives. They're very clear about that, which is
I love to go to driving school and do the high-speed rollover and car accident class, but don't worry, the roll cage is so good, nothing could ever happen
Yeah.
to you.
So Mura is the pilot of Sana's mech. She's in the second seat, and Sana has heavily customized the machine to the point that Mura can't even like remember where things are put that she has installed
Too
in
many
this
rocker
thing.
switches. Too many buttons. You know Sana has a fucked up Arduino board somewhere.
She makes this like little like inward thought comment of like, oh yeah, she's made a bunch of modifications to the cockpit recently. And then we get the shot from her perspective down into the main pilot's seat. And it literally looks like that room in Meow Wolf that's just pilot switches all over the walls.
and the sound effect for this scene is just cluttered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love in manga sometimes when the sound effect is just a description, but the English translation always looks so funny and judgmental. Cluttered.
I also like that she's like, oh, she's irritated piloting with me today. She just wants to get this over with because she needs to go back to the library and work on a mathematic formula. She gets like this, you know?
Everybody's like, these bitches just want to go back to the library. Gay girls only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting. It's going to the library.
And then Taryn pilots for Kugawa-san, who is just as oppressive in her commanding of the unit.
This is so funny because it's like, okay, we saw the cutesy, like, like Yuri bubble side of their relationship in chapter 2. Now they're Amuro Ray and Char Aznavour on the battlefield. Like,
Also, I think there was like an assumption that they would pilot together after the end of that one. No, they're both second seaters. They're both on the ECM suite. They are both.
I loved that. Yeah.
So they unfortunately need jocks to ride on the shoulders of.
And then her pilot is like, we fulfilled our quota of defeated units to pass this course. And she's just like, yeah, what about it?
Keep going.
We're gonna keep going. This fight, let's talk about the Yuri fight. What are they fighting about, guys?
This was so hard to follow. I actually don't know.
They were fighting because they're trying to pick the location for their first date.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So they are deploying every trick in the book, including at one point
statistically, it should be a movie theater. Yeah, I remember this now.
This is how you can't have two fucking ISTJs or whatever the fuck dating. Insufferable ass.
Jesus Christ. There's an emergency rocket booster scene that's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we've never seen these things fly, but they have hot modded these fucking robots so much she gets it flying, all for the sake of, like, we go to an amusement park.
They then activate the Dimension Turbo, which she's not fast enough, so how do you reach forward to press that button? You pull off your shoe and you use your toes. Oh my god.
Like I said, okay, I know that this was for the foot people, but I was also like...
It's also hilarious.
It's hilarious, but also if you're the front seat pilot, they put their little damn toes on your rocker switches and shit, you gotta be like, ugh! Damn it! You can't keep doing this!
Anyway, where did they decide to go?
The Royal Library.
To the fucking library!
Because it would have been perfect.
A couple of fucking Melvins. Oh my god.
But they literally, like, they tie, they beat each other's unit to shit, and then we get their two pilots, and they're like, we're basically best friends as third wheels. We have to hang out while the idiots are idiots over there.
That was cute.
It's like, hey, do you want to have a romance so we have something to do while these two freaks are talking and making us do weird shit?
I like to imagine they're actually just friends, and it's the only non-Yuri in this.
I need a whole OVA that's them being each other's couples piloting together on the war front as adults.
Oh.
I would watch a 50-episode show of that.
That would be really good.
Oh my god. We need the dark sequel.
We need the gritty reboot.
The gritty reboot of Tandem Lovers. We have one more to get to, which is the Omake and problematic Sabella X Rumi. Professor Sabella has been called to transfer into the Armored Army Corps because the war is flaring up, and is going to have to leave the school. As a final request, her student Rumi asks if they can pilot a Tandemine together just once. They have a cute little speech. It's very shoujo-ai, and they promise to meet up after graduation. Problematic. I like the speech.
To their credit, they did MILF that shit.
She does have a little bit of MILF energy, even if it's mostly lipstick. The lipstick are carrying
and the haircut.
Everything. The lipstick and the haircut. This is the most butch woman a girls love manga reader can handle before she starts getting scared. But no, she gives a speech about the fact that, like, because the cockpit is like fucking hermetically sealed, if you want to be a good pilot, you have to like fully imagine the scene outside. You have to feel the wind outside. You have to take in all the information you're getting from the monitors and gauges and like contextualize that as an environment you're moving in, which I think is really cool. And again, this is just the backdrop to this, like, she's turned around in the front pilot seat to hug her waist.
Yeah.
I do want to say I really like this as also a metaphor for them being in a girls' school. So traditionally, girls' schools are insulated environments where the ladies don't really get exposure to the outside world. And the student in this has very much been like, oh, it's been so rough here, but I could do it because you were their sensei. And the sensei is like, there's a whole world out there that you're going to have to be a part of. You're a bird in a cage right now. You really don't know what the wind feels like. And you need to know that if you're going to fly. But we'll meet up when you graduate.
There's wind out there. There's butterflies. There's flowers. There's dudes. You know.
Anyway, I like the final shot where it just has their headsets as they're looking at each other. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, that was that had some Utena energy.
Utenergy.
So that is the wrap up of this. Do you guys have any other thoughts? Anything we didn't talk about in Tandem Lovers?
I forgot a very important detail, which is in the scene where she goes back to her hometown and her friend sends her off at the train station, sadly. She gives her a basket of fruit grown on their farm, and the things that are in that basket are improbable both from growing climate and from season.
Oh my god, here we go.
Wait. No, I gotta get into this chapter. We gotta talk about this. 1 second. What is in here?
You guys know we don't have to hit 2 hours, right? Like,
No, legally we have to.
There's one thing we do have to do, which is we have to rate these goddamn mechs.
There's a couple of variations. I'm obsessed with the chainsaw sword.
So we're going to cover the 3 that really, there are some variants to it, but it's mostly the Tandemine, the Tandemcross, and the Tandem Tractor. The Tandemine has a couple of variants and weapon platforms, but Brian, we'll start with you.
I mean, these were really cute. I love that we kind of got to see it up inside around them. We got to get in their butts. We got to look at them being used for all sorts of different things. I think the boat mode is so funny and stupid. I don't know. These are just like I have to look at my other ratings and the things I rated high for being wrapped into the narrative in interesting and unique and creative ways, or being some kind of I don't know, elevated something or other. These are just mechs and there are girls in them and they kiss sometimes. And that can be an 8 too, okay? This is an 8 for me.
Perfect. Nico?
It's also an 8 for me. Again, this has got Junji Ito draws a car syndrome, okay? It's not about the mechs 100% of the time, but whenever they're on screen, they're drawn so well. There are some crazy poses. The whole Tandemcross thing where they're doing front flips, that is drawn. It's like a progression of overlapping images, almost like an onion skin. There is sheer technical brilliance happening in this manga as a backdrop to girls that are mostly well-drawn kissing. And I'm obsessed with it. I want you both know I love a bulbous cockpit and a stupid little leg. That's the only reason Sensuality got so high for me.
Yeah.
I literally Googled Tandemine Gunpla and got no results. If you make STLs, please make this and then send me the link for this. I want to print it at a library or something. I'm obsessed with these little freaks, and I'm especially obsessed with the fact that they literally get in the ocean in a inner tube, and they have propellers, but I like to imagine they're also kicking their little feet.
Feetsies.
It's an 8. Fuck.
So I'm just gonna echo what you guys said, but I think this is a perfect mix of mecha and Yuri. I feel like the mechas are never really put in the back burner in this.
Yeah.
But I love a generic military mecha with little variants to it. It's very cute. It's very gay. And before either of you said it, I was gonna give this an 8, and I'm giving it an 8. 8s across the board.
888. I don't know what that means.
The 888 Yuri. Well, that's been Tandem Lovers. Let's head to the break, and then we'll play a little game. Hey guys, Alice here. Thanks for listening to On the Shoulders of Giants. We're really happy you're here, but if you know anybody who might be interested, we'd love if you share our work with them. If you are enjoying what we're doing, maybe send us a message, or what would really help us out is if you leave a review online. Really, a lot of the algorithms will push people down if they don't have reviews, so it really helps if you just go and write something on the internet. Heck, we might even read one on the podcast if it's really nice and makes our hearts go doki doki. So if you could do that, maybe do it, and thanks again for listening. Now, back to the show. Hey, welcome back from the break. It's time for a game. The game today is called Let's All Learn Advanced Electronical Components Together. We're heading to the Royal Library, and we're going to start discussing electronic systems.
Oh, no.
Okay, can we talk about our qualifications? I know how to solder. Brian, where are you at?
I'm not a woman, and I'm not in STEM.
Oh, fuck. Okay, let's get in here.
Wait, is computer science STEM?
Yes.
We're 1 and 3 out of women in STEM. Let's go. I forgot what my degree was classified in.
Now that is a certified women in STEM moment.
So,
Yeah.
in a very unfortunate turn of events, we don't have mechas in our modern world.
Yeah, what the
God damn it!
However, we do have main battle tanks, which the Tandemines pretty much are. Now, Nico, last week you were like, we don't have enough depressing games, so this one only alludes to the depressing nature of modern asymmetrical warfare. But today, we're going to be discussing the electronics and parts in modern main battle tanks. What do you guys know about modern main battle tanks?
Well, from the documentary Girls und Panzer, I learned...
Those aren't modern.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Brian, do you know anything?
I didn't even know they were modern. You could have told me that you still had to crank these things up like a Model T, and I would have believed you.
I know this isn't modern either, but I did see an article about how some absolute British lads are using an old M4 Sherman as a tractor on their farm.
Some real British lads. So this is a simple, I give you options, you can steal format. Pretty simple, right? We've done these before.
No bonus points about American imperialism.
If you want to throw out any facts you have about American imperialism, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, it's a simple, I'm going to give you some questions about the advanced electronical components found in modern battle tanks, and you guys are going to choose the correct answer for points. Pretty simple. So let's get into it. Come sit next to me at this table, and let's look at some diagrams together.
I would have sit across the library, though.
Oh,
I want to look at
me
you from afar.
Are you going to start wearing glasses?
Yeah, I actually have prescription glasses I need to wear, and I don't wear them because I don't remember them. So this could be good for me.
ADHD be like. All right, Brian, because your name starts with a B, we're going to go to you first. Main Brian tank. Which of these different main battle tanks does not have a tank infantry phone? A tank infantry phone is a phone on the outside of the tank so that infantry can talk to the people in the tank.
Oh, I thought you were about to say to Ma back home.
That too. Number 1, the M1A1 Abrams. Number 2, the Leopard A2. And number 3, the T-80.
Okay. The T-80 sounds like a Terminator.
I had to say
Terminators are not interested in phone calls. The Leopard also sounds like something that would not be interested in phone calls, so I'm going to go with the Abrams.
This may be our gayest episode yet.
Does not have a tank infantry phone.
Oh, does
is
not.
What you're looking
okay.
for. Yes.
So then I'm actually going to go with the first one that I said, the Terminator one.
You're correct. The T-80 does not have a tank infantry phone. Soviet military doctrine does not dictate that you should be able to talk to your infantry. They are there for a meat grinder. Western tanks more often have tank infantry phones.
Damn.
All right, that point goes to Brian.
Yeah, I love that you showed your work. It was completely spaghetti, but you showed your work.
I mean, he's right. The Terminator would not like a phone call. Have you ever talked to a Terminator on the phone?
Can you imagine if you were talking to a Terminator and he just pulled a phone out of his
Could you imagine if in Terminator 2 Judgment Day when he cuts off that part of his arm to show that he's a Terminator and there was a phone in there?
Just some Nokia.
Nico.
Yes.
Question 2. The K2 main battle tank has multiple active protection systems. Which of these is not a feature of the KAPS or Korean Active Protection System? Number 1, blue, laser warning receivers. 2, yellow, weapon lock warning receivers. 3, red, radar warning receivers. 4, green, VERS grenade launchers. It screens against infrared, optical detection, and radar. Or 5, white lasers. White, a jammer.
I'm gonna say the first one.
That is incorrect.
Oh, out of 5? You mean I didn't just nail it?
It includes the blue laser warning receivers.
Oh my god. Are we doing a lot of laser warfare, Alice? This is a legitimate question. Are we lasering each other? Do we have masers?
They aren't damaging you, they're targeting you.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
All right, Brian, your choices are yellow, the weapon lock warning receivers, red, the radar warning receivers, green, the VERS grenade launchers, or the white jammers.
Green?
That is also incorrect. It also includes the VERS grenade launchers.
Hey, if you're verse, just know that you get grenade launchers. Okay, is it the weapon lock thing?
That is correct.
I was like, okay, the only thing I can think is that we don't actually 100% have the telemetry of an enemy unit. Like,
We don't know when it's locking us. That's more of a fighter jet thing. And that's more just like, oh, I'm targeted. So covered by the laser warning receiver. But the others are part of the caps. Guys, isn't this game so simple?
I'm learning so much about tanks, which I'm sure will be super important in my life.
How many of these questions do you think were leaked on the War Thunder forums?
Oh, like 100%.
All right. Question 3. Brian. The Merkava tank is a weapon of the oppressive War Crime Committee and IDF. But let's talk about its tranny. All 4 versions have had an Ashot-Ashkelon hydromechanical automatic transmission managing the power of its massive V12 engines.
The way me and Brian both just went, huh? At the camera when Alice said that, and then she just said some specs to us.
I'm just saying words. However, of those, 3 have used the Teledyne Continental engines, and only 1 has used a General Dynamics engine. Which of the 4 versions of the Merkava tank had the General Dynamics engine? Is it the version 1, version 2, version 3, or version 4? That's what they call them.
Have any of these solved the based issue of if you get like a grenade slapped into it, it doesn't really matter what you have on board?
For those freedom fighters out there, you just need to put a shaped charge right below where the turret goes to disable these completely. Anyway, Brian, which version has a General Dynamics engine?
2.
Incorrect. Nico?
Damn.
Version 1, version 3, or version 4 has a General Dynamics engine?
4.
That is correct. Thanks to the American Industrial contracts, American Industrial War contracts, they now use a General Dynamics engine instead of a locally produced Teledyne.
Oh my god. Great.
Yep.
Great. Can we ship some shaped charges to various locations?
Nico.
Yes.
The C4I system is a must-have on most modern battle tanks,
I'm saying this.
allowing tankers to coordinate and know the entire battlefield. The I is for intelligence, but which of the following is not one of the 4 C's in the C4I system? It's C and the 4 is the little like up exponent.
Oh, yeah.
Your options are communications, combat, command, computers, control, and counterfire. There are 2 that are wrong. You can earn up to 2 points on this question.
Computers and counterfire.
I'm going to have you choose one first. And then
Oh,
we'll
that
go.
makes sense. Okay. I'll do computers.
That is incorrect.
Oh, we got computers.
Computers is one of the 4 C's. Brian, which 2 of these are not part of the 4 C's? Communications, combat, command, control, and counterfire.
Combat?
Correct. That one is not part of the 4 C's. What is the other one that is not part of the 4 C's? Your options are communications, command, control, and counterfire.
Command?
That is unfortunately part of the 4 C's.
Rats!
Nico, that lets you try and steal back at least 1 point from this. Is it communications, control, or counterfire?
Counterfire.
That is correct. Counterfire is not one of the 4 C's.
It also doesn't seem like a word.
Counterfire?
Counterfire is just shoot back. I don't know why we gotta call it counterfire. Kids these days just keep making up words for shit. What's Riz? What's counterfire?
Brian, back to you.
The utter disgust of my co-host as I alienate the Gen Alpha market.
Question 5. The T-80 BVM, or Terminator tank.
Okay, come on.
Really what it's called. That's really what it's called.
I'm confiscating action movies until the military-industrial complex can be serious.
Has seen extensive use in Ukraine this year and is Russia's self-proclaimed most devastating tank. Its firepower is as followed. The T-80 BVM uses the enhanced 125mm 2A46M-4 smoothbore guns coupled with a new autoloader and is capable of firing the latest Russian APF SDS tungsten Sivnit 1s. The vehicle has received a new 1A45T improved Irtish fire control system, with enhanced detection thanks to the gunner's new Sosna U sight, which features a thermal channel that utilizes the Catherine FC thermal camera.
Oh my god, Catherine's there.
Of these parts,
The only word I recognized was a woman's name.
of these parts, which one was Russia unable to implement due to the embargoes against it? 1, the 125mm to A46MS smoothbore guns, the tungsten S Vince rounds, the Irtish fire control system, the Sansa U unit, or the Catherine FC thermal camera. Which of these could they not implement on this new tank?
Whose turn is it?
Brian.
Oh, sorry, Catherine.
That is correct.
Catherine! Women!
Russia was unable to purchase the Catherine FC thermal cameras due to arms embargoes and had to instead use the old 1PN96MT02 sights. It was reported in 2023 that Russia had finally developed its own gunner sight with a thermal camera designated the PNMT.
The Pendament.
All right. Question 6. Nico, this is to you.
Yes.
The M1A Abrams has been America's main battle tank for decades and has spawned tons of variants, new versions, and many export versions. How many active or formerly active versions of the M1 have been produced? Your options are 12, 25, 27, 30, or 37.
37. She comes in every color.
That is incorrect.
Damn it.
Brian, is it one of these other 4?
Okay.
Now, this does include all of the versions we have made for our allied countries and sold to them at marked up rates.
30.
Also incorrect.
Piss.
Nico, you have a chance to steal.
27. She comes in almost every color.
That is correct. There have been 27 variants created so far. Of those, about 14 have been exported to our allied countries.
Oh my god, we're learning.
Alice, here's a question. If you had the opportunity and the means, would you have a little floating shelf in your house that had all 27 Abrams units lined up on it? Like little miniature versions. Alice is really thinking about this one. Oh, she's contemplating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like there'd be like a sign behind it that says, I don't approve of the American military industrial complex. I just like cool machines. Oh, you know how like old men and grandpas have like those big train setups? I'm going to do that, but it's going to be RC M1 tanks. Okay.
I love this. Okay.
We have a bonus round.
Oh, shit.
What? This is to both of you. You will both answer. If you get this right, you take all the marbles. If you don't, we just go by the score in the other rounds. What is Alice's favorite modern main battle tank? I'm linking you an article with 15 to choose from. Which is Alice's current favorite main battle tank?
Okay, I'm going to do a side Google, which is main battle tank girl manga.
Wait, I have to look through all of these?
Some of them are like duplicates, like there's 2 Challenger 2s on it.
The Challenger 2 is fucking tactical. I fucking hate this guy.
Thank you, Britain. The Challenger 2 also has a tea kettle built in, so you can have tea while fighting because it's British.
I fucking hate the British. I'm sorry to friend of the show Ghost.
Ghost is Scottish.
Well, yes, but I'm sorry to friend of the show Ghost that Scotland is part of the UK. Man, we just be making tanks, huh?
Alice, is it the Leclerc?
It is really close. It's in my top 3, but it is not the Leclerc.
Oh, okay.
These are a lot. That's not even painted black. Why would you call it the Black Panther?
This one looks like it's in a PlayStation 1 game.
Which one? Which one?
The Armata T14.
Yeah, doesn't it? That shit's got polygons.
I like the Argentinian tank. She's sporty.
She's...
The Karar from Iran is also giving tactical. I am going to say, Alice, I think it's the T90M Priorov.
Ooh. Well, you're both wrong. It's the Leopard 2A7.
Okay, where is it so that I can call you basic?
I see it. It looks very Metal Gear.
Is it basic?
It's very Metal Gear. This is what Vulcan Raven would pilot.
The sign.
The sign of all the countries that have bought it. It's basically the main European battle tank. I just love it.
I like her little peepers.
She's a little cute guy. So since neither of you got that right, which I talk about tanks all the time, I can't believe you wouldn't understand. That rounds up our scores. And Nico, you have passed advanced electronical components with one more point than Brian. You may now sit at the table with me studying electronic diagrams of...
I'm switching majors and I'm becoming straight.
Okay, I slide my tablet over to you and I show you this.
For those at home, Nico has drawn a smiley face on the Leopard A2's close-in weapon system. Check on our website.
It's not just a smiley face, it's a little nya.
Nyan, 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 here comes the Leopard 2A7. Bang, bang, autoloader.
Oh my God. Alice, wait, Alice, I need to know. This is off the record. This is not a podcast relevant question. Have you seen the anime Those Who Hunt Elves?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
I just needed to know
yes.
because in that anime they have a cat ghost that haunts a tank. So they have a full live battle tank that meows.
If you haven't seen this, by the way, it's the funniest shit in the world. So they're just hanging around this main battle tank, and the main girl has an RPG. It's so good.
Is that a mech?
We're putting this in the lightning round. No, I love Those Who Hunt Elves. I have to rewatch that. It's been so long. But yeah, they just drive around in this fucking tank.
Okay, do they need the tank to hunt elves? Like, are elves that much of a problem?
I don't remember anything else other than that the tank meows.
The tank is possessed, and they drive around, and it's a Monster of the Week kind of show. Okay. Well, that was exciting, but... Oh! There's a communique coming in.
Someone's calling us on the tank phone.
Somebody's calling us on the tank phone. Let me head out back and answer it. The communique is as follows. Dear OSG crew, I'm from a small prefecture in the countryside, and I attend a really minor military Tandemine piloting school. Recently, my ex-girlfriend from middle school came to town to visit her parents, and we had a really good time. I miss her a lot. I found out that she was doing poorly in school, and then, from that point on, began to make a series of absolutely groundless, massive assumptions about the direction of her life and her relationship to others, that I psyched myself out of trying to convince her to move schools so we can be together again. In my stupor, I went as far as to write a letter to her current Tandemine co-pilot asking her to take care of her. OSG, I'm at a loss. This was an absurd thing to do. How can I save this and be with my girlfriend?
This is a tough one. I think we've all been here. I've definitely been on the receiving end of some groundless assumptions in a vaguely Yuri scenario, so yeah.
Our relationship?
Not us. Listen, I hate to break it to you like this. You've got to become a traitor to your nation. You've got to defect. You've got to join the opposing side. You've got to go to the evil military academy. They're probably going to have kind of an oppositional color scheme to the Seifuku that your GF is wearing, or your would-be GF is wearing. And then once you graduate, you have to meet bitterly on the field of battle. And, I mean, you won't get to, like, go to an amusement park or date or, like, share an ice cream the way she will with her co-pilot when they're in the B-plot episodes, but... during that A-plot, you're going to have what really matters, which is an egregious amount of sexual tension and probably a thematic death. So that's kind of my advice. It goes without saying you have to base your entire life off of your desire for her.
I'm going to kind of jump off of that. I've read a lot of Yuri. What you need to do, double focus on your efforts to go to the same college as them, reunite in college in the same club of Tandemine, and then reignite your love for each other and show that you have grown in your own way. This is about the only way that a childhood friend can win in this situation without it becoming like a lot of, manipulative bullshit in Yuri. So that is mine. Or, this is anime. There's got to be like inter-school competitions with Tandemines. You just got to get to the national level and beat her like this is some sports anime, okay?
Alice really said you gotta get good.
Yeah, just be a better pilot.
What does she got to get from you, Brian?
Get real. This is a world in which there are thousands of lesbians just roaming the halls, okay? Get over yourself. There are other fish in the sea.
And you can reach them using the floater on your team.
Yes.
They're just lesbians just everywhere. They're crawling over
They're
things.
just loose.
Well, we hope that advice helps you and that you can have your Yuri flowers. Get it? It's like have your flowers, but they're
they're
Alice,
Yuri.
we got it.
but the Yuri is Lily. It's
Yeah, we got it.
But the flowers are both girls and they kiss and hold hands. Yeah.
Was there
Yeah,
one
we got
man in this manga?
There
No.
was no men in this manga.
Incorrect. There was one mechanic in the first chapter. We only saw him from the back. Unless it was
That was
very
a butch woman.
Yeah.
this
That
is
was me.
Shoujo I. There's no butch women.
That was me. I was in it.
I was in it. Thank you. We're gonna everybody tag yourself as a background character. Well, and that's this episode of On the Shoulders of Giants, where we discussed Tandem Lovers. Any parting thoughts?
If we're tagging people as background characters, Brian was definitely one of the like cunty coaches with like the crazy updos in that one in the first chapter where they're looking with the binoculars.
I'm absolutely one of the coaches wearing like the mom shorts.
Yes. Brian, any final thoughts?
I love women.
Thanks for listening. Pilots, remember, you can reach out for advice from the team at our email, questions@osgpod.com, and non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to that same address. You can also catch up with us on social media. Links are in the description for updates and more. Make sure to check back in 2 weeks, where we'll be discussing Gundam Wing Endless Waltz for our Merry Camper episode. Until then, Daisuke.
Goodbye, I love you.
Goodbye.
We lost Brian. He's drowning under the...
I couldn't get it out. My rebreather's too old.